Good morning and a warm welcome to this week's edition of The Dialogue on Salt TV. My name is Prince Apollo. On the show, we reflect on the major events of the week, and the panel is set to take you through these matters of national importance. Welcome to the show. You can follow us on live on all TV platforms. We are streaming live on social media, YouTube, Twitter, now X, and all other platforms. We'll be looking at some of those major events, including the image of Parliament, which is currently under scrutiny again after reports of a cash bonanza. Every member of Parliament allegedly receiving 100 million shillings as a cash gift from President Yoweri Museveni, allegedly for passing the coffee bill and possibly to solicit support for the UPDF Amendment Act, which is just in Parliament. Well, the panel is set. Dr. Gerard Wanzara, a public policy researcher, but also an associate lecturer at Uganda Management Institute. He is here in the studio. Dr. Gerard Wanzara, it is a profound honor to always have you on the show. Speak to our viewers. We kick off the big debate.
Yeah, thank you, Apple, and good morning, colleagues in the studio. I greet you viewers out there. We are happy to be with you every Saturday. Looking forward to the 2 hours of engagement.
Sure.
Yeah.
How was your week, quickly?
Not so eventful, but the last 2 weeks there has been something disturbing. In the United Republic of Chirinya. Someone shot 4 people in an entertainment place.
Oh.
And this person entered the car and disappeared. To that, the area police claim they don't have a trace of where this person went. So I think the issue of illegal guns is still a serious issue in the country. This morning I was forced to look at the statistics. In 2023, it was estimated that Uganda has actually about 300 to 500,000 illegal guns in this country. So if such an incident can happen on an open road like that with police cameras and there's no trace at all, then there is a big risk. So we need to take it very, very seriously and maybe strengthen regulations and so forth.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Wanzara. And Richard, it's always an honor to have you on the dialogue. Speak to our viewers.
Thank you, Apollo. As always, first is the Almighty, who I believe enables us to get free oxygen and keep alive. So I thank the Almighty for us. I would like to say hello to my colleagues on the panel, and especially to the viewers who stay with us and keep us going and give us the profile. One of them asked me the other day, he met me and said, give me some money. I said, why? He said, I see you on TV, they pay you a lot. I said, no, we go voluntarily. He said, so why? The question is still ringing in my mind, but I'm always glad to be here.
Wow. Any particular incident or event you can point to this week?
This week we had the Regional Forum on Sustainable Development, the 11th Regional Forum on Sustainable Development, which Uganda hosted in Munyonyo. Yeah, so I was involved in that. And as always, my first interest is the young people to be there. So I was glad that we were able to have a couple of young people in there. And it was, it's coincided previously with the Africa Leadership Institute, the Kikwete team. So it was interesting speaking about Africa, especially now after Donald Trump is pushing us around.
Wow.
Yeah.
Viewers, also profoundly honored to have on the show this morning Honorable Paul Mwiru. And Paul Mwiru is a politician, a lawyer, but also he represented Jinja Municipality East in Parliament. Speak to our viewers, Honorable.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers and listeners. I want to take this opportunity to say hello to fellow panelists and you, Prince, and for the invitation. This is my first time appearing in the studio here, though I've ever stayed in Lunguja here in Chove Zone, so I used to pass here as I move. I think I wish the viewers and listeners a very nice.
One quick comment. Dr. Kizza Besigye and Obed Lutale were denied bail even when they presented the sureties. No question about the sureties, and they fulfilled all the requirements for bail. On comment.
Actually, first it shows that we approved right. We objected to the fact that they appoint judges in acting capacity. And acting capacity, we have argued and we argue again that affects the independence of the judiciary.
Sure.
That a judicial officer, despite taking oath to administer justice without fear, favor, or ill will, it was manifested that Justice Kania failed to dispense justice, despite the fact that she derives judicial power from us, the people. She paid allegiance to power other than to the legal principles laid. In her own judgment, she clearly states that the accused persons had met the conditions of granting bail. Then she delved into the wilderness by saying, you see, she suspects Dr. Besigye may interfere with the investigation. But the big issue is the appointment of judicial officer in acting capacity. Because I saw Justice Wichirwa gave a decision in Jinja. So when it came to confirmation, she was not confirmed. It involved taking a delegation to go and plead with the person who was claimed to have been wronged. In this case, His Eminence Mubaji. And then the delegation went there, they apologized, and then Mubaji put the president, now I have no issue. So please go ahead and clear. This is clear, and actually like I've heard, that in the coming election petitions, they have decided that all election petitions will be heard by acting judges. That will mean that actually no judge will return a serious decision for fear of not being confirmed. You understand? So actually, if you look at our decision, it is well reasoned. You understand? It is only at the conclusion. You understand that she runs away from her oath, a judicial oath. So
what is now the fate of Dr. Besigye and Obed Lutale after the judge himself confirmed they fulfilled all the bail conditions? But
the solution is one. Of course, now that she made a very good ruling, that she in effect dealt with that matter. So our appeal to Court of Appeal is only going to be on whether she erred in not granting bail after finding that actually the accused person met the condition for grant of bail.
You are appealing against the ruling.
Of course, that's supposed to be the direction, and the court must tell the pass determine that question. But to me, the most important thing, it takes back to the judicial officers. They derive judicial power from us. That's why there is a requirement in law that justice must not only be done, but must be seen to be done. Like, for instance, I'm constrained commenting about her, you understand, but you see, she moved away from the confines of being a judicial officer to engage in politics by her decision. So that brings me under the rim to make a comment, but also to make her know, and others who really think like her, that we know that under the circumstances, they are all acting judges. There's nothing they should expect from them, anything political in nature, because they're now fighting for the confirmation. That's why the Court of Appeal, constitutional petition confirmed that there's nothing like that in law. You see, it makes people not act as per the judicial oath they took. You understand?
So Besigye has a right to appeal.
Of course, he has a right to appeal, of course. Now, this is also going to go now to the Court of Appeal. You know, there used to be a panel. Why they call it a panel? That you would bring two distinguished judicial officers in the courts. They're supposed to be the real sense to reflect the panel. You know a panel? A panel is a very strong thing that you can't just go through it. Meaning that they have to look at it will be very difficult to vitiate their sense of judgment, to vitiate their independence. And even if one did not take the decision, now the other two would. That's why they are three. You understand? But now, what we also have to do, the way the proliferation of the judiciary with the circumstances which are happening, whether we can get a panel in the real sense.
Okay.
Now, that's now an appeal. But the only line available is through the appeal process, up to even up the Supreme Court.
All right. It was just a comment that I wanted to know from you. If this was a precedent, in your experience, was it a precedent, such a ruling, or something that
actually, it raises a new jurisprudence as to whether after me meeting the condition for grant of bail, you understand, a judicial officer is legally clothed to his power to say that I have not granted bail. Now, this is going out to cause a challenge to the students of law now, because that's one area now, a question which must be interrogated. For instance, if there was a dispute between Salt FM and Dr. Wanzara over this property, and Doctor came here for an application for interim to stay the eviction, you understand, the law spells out the conditions which must be met. But the condition meaning that once Doctor fulfills the condition for grant of a temporary injunction, and then you as a judge you say you have met all the conditions, then you say, however, the application is dismissed. Now the question would be now based on what? Because the ground that's set out in the law have been met.
The clause that gives judges or judicial officers the discretion, the last word.
No, the discretion must be exercised judiciously.
But
you saw, actually, I have no doubt that these are competent people in terms of going to school. But actually, what they do is exactly the opposite.
Thank you so much, Honorable Paul Mwilu, a lawyer, a politician, but also former member of parliament for Jinja Municipality East. My name is Prince Apollo. Let's now kick off the big show, looking at the scrutiny that is currently in public discourse, looking at the image of parliament. The cash bonanza again, allegedly dished out to members of parliament, 100 million each member of parliament. And these latest claims invoke those deep-seated concerns in the public about the independence of parliament, the greed for money, I mean, on the side of our legislators in parliament, but also allegations of our parliament turning into a deal house and transactional politics. Dr. Jeda Dwele Wanzala, let me hear from you. Are you really surprised that just few months after we had a debate on cash bonanzas, again we have another scandal unfolding?
Thank you very much, Apple. I think my colleague on the right, Richard, is always very prophetic, although he's not a certified prophet. He has always said we will come back here and we discuss this issue again. And indeed, it's now 3 years. We are back here discussing the same thing. I think we first discussed the issue of MP Kagabo and the 40 million
2022
that was allegedly given. And you saw the problems it caused him when he exposed that actually some people from his own party had participated in the bonanza. And then I think towards Christmas 2023, again, we had about something close to 100 million. And then this time. But if you look at the pattern of these things, they usually come around the time when either we have just passed a supplementary budget, or and I think that's why the Daily Monitor could have been right to say maybe it was a thank you if it was given, because there are certain budget lines when you scrutinize at times don't make much sense to me as an observer of public affairs. For instance, looking at the recently passed budget, supplementary budget, one chunk of it went to attack sugar.
Oh, the 4.2 trillion.
Yes, attack sugar,
supplementary.
where the MPs, led by the leader of opposition, went there and said there's nothing taking place. So it has become a bottomless pit for taxpayers' money. And so you go, if you say you are going to lift the veil on the owners, who are they that they keep getting this money from the taxpayer continuously? The same thing with Aluboa, a hospital, which we have waited almost, the money is going to 1 trillion shillings, but the results are very minimal. The other supplementary budget, of course, went to an individual factory in Ntungamo of Nelson Tugume, who is also counting now almost 100 billion in taxpayers' money. And when you look at the fairness with which how we choose to fund these entities, it's not there. Now, I also looked at classified expenditures.
Yep.
The UPDF had about 39 billion. And the justification was that we have a new operation in South Sudan. We needed the resources. But I saw 368 classified expenditure under State House. Now, ISO and the SO and RDCs are under President's office, not State House. So why are all these resources in the billions going to a residence of a head of state? So when it is alleged that it's a thank you, so I want to prove that probably it is in exchange for approving these monies without giving it a critical eye. But looking at public trust between the parliament or our governance institutions and the people of Uganda, it's at its lowest. There is a report which was not highly publicized, Afrobarometer, the recent one, conducted in December last year. It shows that the trust of citizens of Uganda in the member of parliament is about 30%, less than 30%. And the president is also around there. So it means this 70% do not have trust in the leadership and in the institution. This creates a problem that, one, it creates a big distance between the leaders and the population. And even when you come up with an initiative to implement, people will not believe you because they think the information you are giving them is wrong. But the framers of the law of these institutions had a code of conduct. For instance, one of the duties of a member of parliament is to fight corruption. To report corruption. Yes. The other is to conduct themselves in a honorable manner. That's why when Honorable Paul Mwiru comes, we refer to that title. For them, I remember they returned the 20 million back to the treasury. That's around the age limit. The age limit money.
Wasn't it 29?
29. Yes. A number of them took it back and rejected the money. So if you have a duty to fight corruption, you have a duty to act independently, without influence from other. That's what the rules of procedure command. That the MP should act independently, without influence from other sources. But what is happening is totally different. Now, the danger is, you saw some MPs being arrested in this very parliament for allegedly discussing with foreigners to oppose a government position, to be funded by oil companies in Kenya, to oppose a position of the government of Uganda. That is a total sale of a country. And so the risk is, if this behavior continues, then it is likely to endanger us, including, by the way, the security of Uganda at some point. Because a rich state that would like to invade the country may come and influence a policy through parliament. And then the government makes a mistake, and at the end of the day, we become vulnerable.
Okay. And Doctor, we can still speculate, because we don't have concrete evidence as of now that the MPs received the money, and that has been the case even in other events.
If it was an isolated,
I would want you to tell us whether you think we have reason to suspect that they indeed received this money.
Yeah, we do have a strong reason to suspect, not just a reason, but a strong one. Because I've given you a background of these occurrences. When it came to removing the term limits, money surfaced. And other, by the way, people of dignity, like I respect, like the Honorable Otafira at the time,
they returned.
Said, yes, no, he said, I received it and I had fun with Mao here. No, but Mao by then, they said, we had fun, because why would I take it to Ruhinda? It was given to me. Are those people the ones who are going to change the constitution? That's what he said. So it happened. Then we have seen MPs return money, while others are saying they will not return the money because they have problems in their constituencies. So we have a reason to believe. And if we are to correct the image of these institutions, it has to be deliberate. Now, also looking at the writing of the president yesterday, the president yesterday issued a statement in respect to the 100 million, and he addressed us, Bazukuru, Ugandans, and so forth. And he seems to say, while he's not direct to say that he has not given the money.
He chooses the opposition to also be corrupt.
Yes, he chooses people that when they get money from foreigners, they need corruption. So the question I want to ask that, because there are people who receive money from abroad, therefore it was justified that he had to give them, So the statement was kind of vague, and majority of the citizens of Uganda, I believe, discern from the different groups, discussions we are watching, people believe that indeed he might have given the money.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gerard Wanzala. And Richard, it now looks like cash bonanzas have been normalized, especially in Parliament. And I don't know, perhaps we should stop criticizing them for receiving this money. What do you think?
I think for me, the criticism is from a different side. First of all, I just want to look at the pattern. It was 5, 20, 29, 40, 50, 100. I'm a bit disappointed now that they still got 100. Yeah, because the trajectory over the years has been that they get an increment. So why are they stagnating? And from the allegations, and they are just allegations, actually, was it the Honorable Bua who said it is street talk?
Yeah, no, Honorable Taiwa.
Honorable Taiwa, I think, is the one. So if we indulge in street talk, we bring it from the street to the studio now. Studio street talk. The allegation is that it is for two things now, for two actions. So again, for me, if it is for two actions, it means it is 50-50. So it's a reduction from, they had already risen to 100. The previous one was 100 from the street talk.
Some reports indicate they will be receiving another 100.
Okay, then I would say now that would pacify my heart, yes. Because why for two actions, if you have already reached the point of 100, why do you now get 50? And you go away with it. So really, so if they go to 200,
we have talked. Perhaps we should let things be?
But then you would be saying that my brother, Pastor Ujingo, should stop talking. He talks Wednesday, he talks Friday, he talks Sunday. So talking will not stop. You can't say now you have talked enough and you will not stop. The talking will continue, and I think we should. I think we should talk. You see, you talk about MPs getting money, but aren't you the ones who cover another official giving envelopes every time? She's somewhere. Yeah, she is there and just throws money around. It is common on television here. We are
The lead of government
and
business in Parliament.
we are talking about government business. So would it be surprising that it's government business to give vendors 50,000 and of course MPs you give them 100 million? I think it's
The threshold seems
it changes according to who you are dealing with. It is, and even if, so Apollo, the deployment of money, of cash, to achieve political results is not new. So Dr. Wirike will tease me that I say we will come back and talk about the same thing. Yes, because you see, the leadership and therefore the approaches, the tactics, the gameplay, and the thinking has been the same over the years and has not changed. That's why many times I come here, I say, for me, there is nothing that has occurred that persuades me that it will be done differently. You say, no, the script is the same and the script has worked previously. And so it will be deployed again. As long as you have the same team captain, you may change the players, but the script remains the same.
So cash bonanzas have become a modus operandi.
They have not just become, they are. They are. And you see, when you say cash bonanzas have become a modus operandi, so when you get a traffic offense on the street, or you don't have a license on your car, whatever, what do you deploy? We even have a name.
I persuade the officer and plead.
No, now we even shortened the name. We call it KK, but it's Kitu Kidogo. We have a name for it. We know it. So as an MP who earns, I don't know, 400 million every year, I don't know how much they earn. If you give them 100, that is their Kitu Kidogo. So this is a dispensation that works across in the judiciary, in the enforcement, in the whatever. And so it's a dynamic that is entrenched in our work method.
Doesn't it spell doom for this country?
Yeah, but you see, I think I am the one who tries not to be a prophet of doom. It's just I put a disclaimer. I say, you see, we are going to get pangas and cut each other. I keep saying that. I said, no, I'm not the prophet of doom, but I am just an assessor of things that happen. If I keep angry and generating my anger, that the person I voted for to go and get me a portion of services, a portion of development, a portion of better well-being, if I see them in my mind and I believe that they are being bought not to get me that, then eventually I will get a stick or a stone. I don't want to be accused of inciting. But this is, the assessment is that, that's why I say we'll come back and talk about this, because the assessment, the signs, the symptoms, they are clear. If you do diagnosis, the symptoms and signs.
So to you, Richard, to you, Richard, as we continue to speculate, you believe that is the way things are done in this government?
I don't believe. I see.
it is.
I see.
Honorable Paul Mwiru, you must have friends in Parliament. Possibly you can give us a final word if really they received the money. And if they received the money, what does it speak to the House I am sure you still intend to be part of.
Well, I think we are debating the symptom. But as doctor, maybe you recall, as a researcher, and my brother here will agree with me that parliament is a colonial governance tool. That when the colonialists came here in 1862, before leaving in 1962, they had governance tool which they were supposed to decommission. One of them is the governance structure. They used parliament as of then to pass laws and ordinances for the control of our people. So the colonials used to use that. When the colonialists went and imperialism came, the agents of imperialism, like President Museveni, remained with that tool. And he uses it effectively. But before I go there, let me first answer the question in this direction. For the benefit of our viewers, you see, this is power. Power belongs to the people. If you read our constitution in Article 1. So it is these people who get part of their power and they elect
Leaders.
In this case a member of parliament, to go and act on his or her behalf to do particular things which are enshrined within Article 79 of the Constitution. To make law, to appropriate, to do oversight as it is supposed to be. But then, of course, we cannot go with the pretense. We need first to interrogate the process which produces these purported leaders. The politics of economic foolery has preoccupied society, that wherever you go, the MPs are on a spending spree. They engage into anything society thinks that actually the MPs are ATMs giving out money to people. That's why I opine that the process itself is corrupt.
That brings these members of
Brings
parliament.
the members of parliament before even go now to the real core. On the other hand, there is a duty on the side of an MP to ensure that he respects the mandate of the people. But the big thing, which my brothers here and the viewers should focus on, that you see the MP goes there as a gatekeeper, he appropriates the resources. The taxes, all the Ugandans pay by this structure goes to the consolidated fund. And it's only this MP who takes a vote that that money should go to where it's supposed to go. I'll just make something about the supplementary. The law says it's when you present a budget. It's what you intend. It comes out of the strategic investment plan, the work plans and budgets of ministry. I said this is what we intend to do in this financial year. That's why it even has unfunded priorities when they are in the ministerial policy statement. They would exist. But these people bring a supplementary, which is even most often than not outside the unfunded priorities. But also too, which actually, because the law says the supplementary must have been unforeseen.
Yes.
Only there's a reason that actually there's no way you can ignore. They abuse the standards they have set for supplementaries. We raise that on the floor. Actually, that's where the problem starts. But again, this for me, I don't want to focus on this manner. Yes, I condemn it, but I want to focus on the effect of what they do.
Yep.
By them allowing budget corruption, because that's where the money goes. That they are appropriating money to entities, wastage. Because if you looked at our national budget, you'd realize that actually we're going to $1 trillion in donations. $1 trillion. If you collect donations which are over these all government
spread across
entities,
different entities and departments.
and if you go to agriculture, you don't reach $1 trillion.
Yeah, the whole budget.
Yeah, the whole budget. Meaning that the budget corruption now manifests like in the supplementaries, in the classified expenditures, and that's why President is speaking this money. You saw him in his missing. Of course, it was confirmed that he had given the money. Because you cannot take President Museveni, because the MPs had succeeded in the ploy of coming to say...
Did he confirm that he
course,
gave out the
they
money?
had succeeded in outsmarting him because they had set up a piece of paper where anybody would come and say, I've not received.
Yeah.
I've not received.
Yeah.
Meaning that they're actually coming out clean of the entire process. You understand? You have to take it back to their game and say, no, please, I gave the money. You understand? But you see, this is not new. What I want to the public to know, that there's a lot of damage which is done. This 100 million, of course, they have been giving. They gave the 110, they gave the other, but they have been giving bailout to those whom they think are collaborators. So as members of parliament, they are not supposed to be professional collaborators. 12 people see for the money from...
That's what they have become.
That's what they have become. Because this is the debate of 100 million. For me, I look at the damage they have caused. That they allow the supplementary, where they are donating money. Because if I asked you, we have out growers in the country who grow sugarcane. The sugarcane which is grown, the ton which are harvested in the country is 1.6 million ton. But the out growers contribute to 1.2. The factories control 400,000 tons on their gardens. So how do you leave the out growers and not give them to do their own factory? Where they are demanding even 134 billion.
Oh, you're talking about this chunk of the supplementary that
this is they are giving, and you go and they give Amina 660 billion that to go and do a sugar factory. You understand?
To defeat its logic.
It defeats, and then of course the purpose is that there must be, if you lift the veil, you realize that this money ends up. These are things which we have been talking about. But you see, the problem now, just like the way I talked about the judicial officers, that they have judicial power from the people. And that power must be exercised in accordance with the will and aspirations of the people. In my view, the same provision applies to the members of parliament. You see, though, of course, you see, with my experience, we saw when people are picking money. You know, I used to sit on the 4th floor. I was a vice chair of Public Accounts Committee. And people would pay pass over my office with boxes. You understand? Like when I would be like read those reports, you'd open the door. They'd come and close it. We don't want to see
that is the 10th parliament.
That was the 9th.
9th.
Largely, yes. They'd come and close it, but I wanted the door open. I don't know, we must close. I say, why? This is my office.
At night, during the day?
Of course, in the evenings. Because like when we would go like to parliament, because we had the reports, drafts, we would go after parliament, go in the office to be reading through these reports and then start to clear them for the committee for discussion. But even those who have been taking public money, no, that money is cast. Because the taxpayer out there who pay their money. Because the principle concerning tax is that it must do those things which cannot be done individually.
Yes. So
they have abandoned their duty, and now they have got the survival mode. For them, they think that by allowing someone to take 3 trillion in a classified expenditure, and he gives you 100 million, you are really a superb person. This is what my brother has been talking about. Although I have not said, but it is foolishness in the minds of these people. You are causing a financial hemorrhage.
Yes.
To a country.
Actually, it's betrayal.
It's financial hemorrhage to a country.
It's betrayal.
That's why the president was inviting us to debate his later and move away from the debating what is an issue. What is an issue is that the people are saying their mandate. They are abusing the extent to which we gave them our power.
Yeah.
Those are in the parliament. You understand? But what my brother was saying, that because now it has become a culture, that you can buy a decision from the one who controls the purse. Because they are important in this budget process. Because the constitution is to gives them the power to authorize, you understand, the release of money from the constitutive fund. So for me, you know, I met a man who was telling me yesterday that he talks in Uganda. Negati mwe MP. Tugenda ba kutweno je mujate abempi bagala nyo kulya ku mikolo ja.
Sure.
Yes, tumanyika we have limited that one abenga against. Because we cannot go through the hatred we go through to raise a leader. And you go and all what you are doing, you are telling us you have a lot of problems. Because even this money they give them, they cannot stay with that money. even for a week. You understand? So you see, the parliament man, I don't know how it works. Whether there is some spiritual connection, I don't know how it works. You see, when you don't have money, you don't receive a call that people want money. And it means they receive a message for a salary of 5.2.
Then calls will start coming
Someone
in.
would call. Then what's the relation between this money and the calls? It means it gets finished. You don't receive any call. Once you receive the emoluments, still calls would come in. So people kept on wondering that what is the correlation between the receiving money and people calling?
So, Honorable, some pundits takes it back to the voters that the demands from voters are extremely high, and possibly it's what is pushing the members of parliament to also sell their souls and actually betray the trust of their voters.
No, it is to me it is a moral issue. Like if you don't have food at your home, do you kill your children and eat those because there is no food? Like I'm from the Baisega Kiran, the Mbogo Kiran, the buffalo. But I don't eat buffalo meat. You understand? Because I'm
so the blame squarely goes back to the members.
You see, the moral fiber, also the politics of the country we're engaging in. This is what I was asking. But do we need even a national parliament? Or we need a small one, and we need a regional parliament? Because what is their impact on the things which they talk about? But that's also another question. Because parliament has been killed, it is full of mobilizers. Because like I was asking one, that if you have taken the money, why do you fear scrutiny? You are posturing as if nothing has happened. You don't want straight talk. You don't want, but you see, there's nobody you are fooling. You're still fooling yourself.
Thank you so much, Honorable Mwiru, and our viewers. We will take your comments and observations. Send the comments on 0701 609906, and that is via WhatsApp platform and SMS platform exclusively. WhatsApp and SMS. Let's get your comments on what is happening to our legislature, a very vital arm of government, but now it has become a way of doing things. It has become normal. It has been normalized that every time they have to do certain businesses, they must be paid. What does that mean? And what can we do to redeem the image of Parliament? Richard, you wanted to speak something?
No,
please do.
Just for
we have to prepare to go for a break.
Yeah, for Honorable Mwiru, I just wanted to tell you, but you see, there are so many mosquitoes in this town. It's Kampala surrounding Victoria is a mosquito-infected place. So when you keep your door open in the evening, we even tell people, please close your doors and close your windows early. The mosquitoes can bring malaria to you. So that's why they were telling him, please close your door, Honorable. They were caring about his health. It was not about the boxes in the corridor. So because the viewers may keep their doors open in the evenings and malaria will.
They
really cared for the vice chairman. Yes,
and they would pass by his office. Dr. Were, now that every time there is business to do in Parliament, for instance, a supplementary budget, either loan request, members of Parliament must demand for money. Now, what remains of that house that we call the August House?
Now, the issue here is once, like Honorable said, you sell your mandate, okay? Then probably you engage in budget corruption, and you don't deliver, government doesn't deliver services to the people. So people shift the responsibility of government to you. And then they will expect you, as Richard, to be the concern and deliver roads, and you deliver that. But because you are not able, you will turn up with the hose in a city, like the other MP in Mbara was chased with the hand hose in the city. You know? So at the end of the day, you are becoming irrelevant to the people who voted you. So, like you're asking me, I believe the image of Parliament is continuing to decline, just like other governance institutions are happening. he talked about the judiciary. You know what is happening there. I had never heard of these issues of acting judges until recently when I'm seeing a very long list. Actually, that's what came into my mind. If I'm an acting judge and I go against some people who have the power to approve me, to promote, to confirm me, what will happen? So if you go to other entities also, it's a big problem. So for me, this country needs a reset, like many people are saying. A reset meaning that probably you'll have a leader who will deliberately come and stand and say this must happen, or it should, or you should
demolish the old order.
Exactly, the old order. In China, Mao Zedong called it the cultural revolution, abandoning the old archaic behavior and adopting so that we can restore the image of parliament. Now look, we have money here on laws on money laundering, anti-money laundering laws. He has a group, I have a group. When I'm going to bank the money from my members, Financial Intelligence Authority is in the banks every day asking what's the source of this money. And then we bring a list of my members and say, these are the people who contribute, we put it on this account, from the account we put it in the unit trust. Explanation. But who are these people who make the laws and then they are carrying boxes of money? Where is it coming from? From which budget line? What work did you do? I think if we don't have that reset to ask the difficult questions,
their income is known and they have mortgaged all their earnings.
Absolutely.
So the source of money is where?
Yeah, maybe on a lighter note, I see one chairman called me from Tororo yesterday and asked, is it true the MPs have received the money like we are hearing? I said, I'm not sure, but he said we are waiting for them. I hope they share that money with us. So at the end of the day, this money basically almost becomes useless to you. You will go, many people need it, 100 million, if you begin distributing it in the constituency, it's nothing. But your image is gone. You'll even sell your property to go back for a re-election.
Well, thank you so much, our viewers and the panel. We still look at the cash bonanza allegedly involving all members of parliament, and the opposition made their position, had their position made clear when they resolved to have that list where every member of parliament who confirms that he or she has not received the money must sign. I don't know to what effect does that...
It is a conscious issue. It's about your conscience. You understand? And it's about your conscience.
Does it stop you from receiving the money and attending you?
I don't think there is any conscience. For me, I think people are playing politics.
You see, for one reason, you see, like when we were in parliament, why they will not give us, that isolated us. When they gave the 110, they said that one will talk, that one is like this. They were dealing with some collaborators. You understand? But if you come and decide, for us who achieve as the opposition, that they will now mistrust you. This one receives money and then he signs. You understand? That's why we want to see those who will not sign. So that we know what is the impetus for not signing. Are they fearing the one who gives? And then also the other hand, which we need to discuss. I see for long, people discuss the one who is receiving. And they tend to take the one who gives as if he's a saint. I think Richard needs to pass on that. Because it is the receiving and the giving and the receiving.
That who is giving. You see, for me, when you say we are going to put a list,
and it's there,
and the people sign those who didn't get, beginning we are going back into, you are telling the same lie.
What stops?
It is the same lie you are telling. What stops me, who received the money,
to come and
to go and sign?
No. Actually,
what
the one
stops
who
me?
gives, I'll give an example. In the 9th parliament, they were giving money, but they had a list where they had put Mweru, Unzowu, those whom they thought that if you talk to them, this will expose us, and they will not give. So what for us we achieve, that if Richard does not he signs when he has received, because Museveni is still bribing MPs. The next time he's coming to bribe, he won't give you and you will miss.
No, you will get. You see, you will get. What is important is not what you talk about. No, all of us who are in politics, we tell lies, and we know. What is important is what you do on the ground. when I want a vote, do you give it to me? Or when I don't want you, when I want you to abstain, do you abstain? All this other talk, we lie.
That what?
Everything we tell them, the things we tell voters that we are going to give them, we lie.
Maybe you say this for one reason.
Okay.
You see,
So for Honorable Muiru to come here and say for them they are saints is also a lie.
Gentlemen, we have to go for a break.
That is okay. They should not sign. Because for us, what we are doing is just simple. We are saying, if you didn't receive the money, please come and do a declaration.
Because if I'm an NRM MP, I go to sign Muiru's list. What bearing does Muiru have on me?
But
what bearing?
So
that is going to go to which public is he going to go to? Because I am looking at the next, wait. I'm looking at the next election for me. Now, if he didn't sign, did he come back?
Won't it cost you?
No, if he didn't sign, for those who signed, did they come back? All of them?
Actually, you see, coming back.
This is the point for me. That if I am,
isn't the end in itself. You see, the mistake people make actually. I see men who take the school of thought, like my brother Richard, that when people elect you to serve in that term, they abandon what they're supposed because they are feared to be fought in the next term. This is what we're telling people. Me being or not being in the parliament, it doesn't mean anything. For instance, I was looking for people who are like-minded like me. I offered myself on a platform. I told them, I stand for this. They gave me the vote. As well as I was not here, it's a different matter. But at least I know that there are people of the same DNA out there. That's why I'm saying.
So you still insist this list of signatures has an impact?
You see, first it is one thing. You see, as Richard has said, we were in the parliament. We saw MPs who were in the opposition, who were the collaborators completely, and ended up being ministers. You understand? That's why we are saying we have put a list. Whoever consciously thinks he didn't receive the money,
he should come and sign.
Thank
you so much.
I am also saying I can't come and sign because I also see you as a liar. You are also as corrupt as I am. Why should I sign your list? That's what I'm saying. You
you stay in your corner of corruption.
Absolutely. And I come back to parliament. The ones who sign, what means what?
Let's go for a break, and when we return, we'll be reading those comments from our viewers, but also continue to interrogate the circumstances and the consequences as the house now, the business in the house becomes transactional. My name is Prince Apollo. Let's go for a break and return after this short while when the dialogue resumes.